All right, another equation of the tangent line. It happens so often. Okay, to take the derivative of this, you know you're going to need to use quotient rule, right? So if I start with the derivative, if I get low, so I'm just going to write the low down, plus sine of 3x d high. Wait a minute, what's the derivative of pi? That's 0 minus high, and now I'm going to take the derivative of the low. So derivative of cosine of 3x will be negative sine of 3x times 3, right there. And then derivative of sine is cosine of 3x times 3 all over the denominator squared. Okay, so what does that give us? Y prime. So I'm just going to simplify this a little bit. So I'm going to multiply the pi through. So I'll get a positive 3 pi sine of 3x minus a 3 pi cosine of 3x all over this squared. Okay, now I'm going to plug in pi over 2. So another notation would say like put in pi over 2. Okay, put in pi over 2. You know sine of 3 pi over 2 gives me a negative 1. So let me write it down here. So 3 pi sine of 3 pi over 2 negative 1 minus 3 pi cosine of 3 pi over 2, you know, is 0 over cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0 plus a negative 1, right, sine of 3 pi over 2, and all of that is squared, so I get a negative 3 pi over a 1. Negative 3 pi is the slope. Okay, that's the m. So let me just write it right here. M is negative 3 pi. Now I want to go find the y value. So the y value, let me make room up here. The y value is going to be me plugging in pi over 2 into the original function. So let's do that. So put in pi over 2. So y of pi over 2, I'll have the pi on the top. I'll have cosine of 3 pi over 2, that's 0. Sine of 3 pi over 2, that's a negative 1. So my y value is negative pi. So the answer to number, for example 4 here, will be, let me write it right here, y plus a pi, right? Y minus a negative pi, equaling a negative 3 pi x minus pi over 2. Okay, let's look at this one. So I want x values where this thing is parallel to this. Okay, so I know if I rewrite this, I can see that the slope has to be negative 3. So I want all the values of x where the slope is negative 3. So let's go find what the derivative, because that tells me slope of the tangent line. So that gives me negative cosecant squared of 3x times the derivative of 3x, which is 3. So I'm going to be setting negative 3 cosecant squared of 3x equal to negative 3. I can divide through by the negative 3's, so I get, cosecant squared. Let me erase that. Okay, so I get cosecant squared of 3x is 1. Oh, and you know when you take the square root, you get plus or minus, right? Let me take the time to rewrite this in terms of signs first. So this is the same thing as saying 1 over sine squared of 3x equals 1. So that gives me sine squared of 3x is 1. Now if I take the square root, I'm just going to make some room up here. If I take the square root of both sides, I see that I'm going to get 2 equations that I get to solve. So I'll have sine of 3x is 1, and I'll have sine of 3x is negative 1. Thinking about our unit circle, sine of 3x will be 1 here at so any angle will be 1 at pi over 2, and sine at any angle will be negative 1 down here at 3 pi over 2. So I can say that this angle 3x has got to be pi over 2 plus k pi, and then I can divide through by that 3. Oh, there's my answers. Okay, so let's do this. So equation of the tangent line again. I'm just going over all these new examples of the same thing, but you using chain rule to take the derivative. So to take the derivative of this, first off, you see the square on the outside. So I'm going to bring the 2 down. Cosine of x over 4 to the 1 power times the derivative of the cosine, which is negative sine, carry the x over 4, and then finally times the derivative of x over 4, which is 1/4. So now I want to plug in pi into here, right? Because that's where I want the angle at, y prime of pi. So I'm just going to write it out. So cosine of pi over 4, negative sine of pi over 4, and then times another 1/4. So let's see, this 2 and this 1/4, that gives me a 1/2. And I've got the negative sign I'll pull outside. These two are both root 2 over 2, right? So it's like saying root 2 over 2 squared. Oops, squared. So this gives me a 1/2. This gives me a 2 over a 4 or a 1/2. Whoops, I lost my negative. So the slope is negative 1/4. Again, we want to find the y value by putting pi into here. So that would give me cosine of pi over 4 all squared, which would give me 1/2. So let me write it up here. So y minus 1/2, this y value, equals the slope, negative 1/4, x minus pi.